Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. This time I want to show you a few options for setting up a future log in your bullet journal. There are a lot of options out there and it can be quite overwhelming to find something that fits your needs and your aesthetics and find something that just works for you. So I thought about getting a few ideas for you together in one video so that you can see what might work for you. For the first one, I decided to include kind of the original bullet journal method log. You just list out all your events and appointments on the left and you mark with a dot the month that it goes to. And whenever you're going to set up your monthly log, you just transfer all the events that go into the month. This, for me, does not work because it's too disorganized and I like to have my appointments in a section all together for 1 month. So on the right side, I included a log where you have your appointments for a month all together. You don't have a lot of space because the log fits on one page, but if you don't need a lot of space for different appointments, that's the perfect log for you. Next up, future logs on 2 pages. That means you have 6 months on 1 page. And I started out with some vertical ones. For the first 3, I decided to add the calendar overviews so that you can see how much space they take away and how they look. You could leave it blank or do what I did there. I added an outline so that I would see how much space exactly I have for each month. And for January, I kept it quite blank. For February as well, I just added in the days of the week. And for March, I added in some lines to divide the calendar from the appointments. You can add some color as well to divide your sections even more, or to add like a fun pop of color. For the bottom ones, I decided to keep them quite simple, just the outline and the name of the month. And with some color, I added some fun lines and played around with it a little bit. But those are the options that I have for you now for the vertical ones. There are a lot more, obviously, but here are just some basics. Next up, some square ones. I decided to go with something more doodly and drew out some post-it notes. I'm just writing the title of the month and that's it. That's a lot of room for appointments and events. Next up, some simple square ones. Again, just the month and that's it. You could add some drop shadows to make them stand out a little more. I personally don't like the black ones, so I added gray drop shadows. At the bottom, something more fun. Some squares with squiggly lines. Again, really simple. And yeah, these are my log ideas for 2 pages. Now we go on to 4 pages. That means 3 months per page. We're starting out with some horizontal ideas. On the first page, I decided to make some designs that are inside of borders, so inside of squares. For January, I decided to include a calendar. For February, I left the calendar out and just added a simple banner, and this gave me a lot more space. And for March, I kept it very simple, just adding a big bold letter, and that's it. You could add again a little bit of color to make it more fun, or leave it blank. You could also leave out all those squares and borders and stuff like that and just write out the months. For February and March, I left the calendar out. I just marked the space where it would go. And yeah, you could leave it like that. Or you could add some lines to divide the months up. But again, you can make it as simple as you like. Onto some vertical ideas. For this, you have the month at the top and you have all the way down space for your appointments. You can add the calendar as I'm doing here. You could leave it away to have even more space. For January, I decided to add a border around like the complete area, so from top to bottom. For February, I decided to add the border just for the events, so below the calendar. And for March, I decided to leave the border out. You could divide this border section even more so that you can have different areas where you can divide into work or personal, for example. For January, I added some lines to make it more fun. And yeah, you can just play around with them. You have all the way from top to bottom for 1 month. You can divide it up, you can leave it like that, you can add some color. Yeah, it gives you a lot of space for your appointments. On the right page, my personal favorite. This might not be, this might not work for everyone because you don't have a lot of space per day, but I like the overview. So I started off with the name of the month at the very top. I have an A5 notebook and I needed to start at the very top. Added a calendar for a quick reference, and then I wrote out every single day of the month from top to bottom. And you could write it out once on the left side and have it as a guide for all 3 months. I decided that I like the cohesive look of having those numbers for every month, so I added them for every month, as you can see here. It's a lot of work, but in the end it looks really cool, and yeah, I think it was definitely worth it. I added a little bit of color with marking the weekends for easier reference. You could add one color for every month, however you like. And yeah, I think if you have a spread like that, it looks really, really fun. Now something that I'm using for this year, because I needed a lot more space than all the logs that I've shown you previously have, I decided to have a future log on 12 pages, so 1 page per month. I started off with the name of the month with a calendar for a quick reference. Yes, I've drawn a lot of calendars for this video. Then I added some sections. A top section for birthdays and reoccurring events like anniversaries. Then 2 vertical boxes where I've divided my appointments into work and personal appointments, and a notes section for just important stuff that doesn't fit into the other sections. And I really want to try this one out and see if it works for me. I have everything in one place, but it's all organized and neat. Yeah, that's my log for this year. And now on to something fun. The Dutch doors are growing more and more popular, so I decided to include two options. One where you cut up something at the top and one where you cut up something on the sides. Obviously you can use the Dutch doors completely differently. I decided to have a vertical one where I cut up the top. So I just added sections for the months as I did for the logs that fit on 4 pages. And just wrote them out into columns and that's it. And for the second design, I decided to go with a with a horizontal one. Obviously you can change all that up, and you could even add one Dutch door more by cutting up 2 pages, and you would have more space for each month. I really love the idea of Dutch doors because it gives you the illusion of having your log on 2 pages and at a glance, but you have a lot more space. Here I added 2020 on both sides, but you could use that space for notes or design elements. Yeah, to make it more fun. And that's the last one I have for you today. So yeah, here's a little flip through of all the logs that I've created in this video. If you want to see more, please let me know. I would love to film even more. If you want to see other spread ideas, again, let me know in the comments, and please let me know which one is your favorite and which one are you using for this year. I really would love to connect with you, so yeah, I can't wait to read all your comments and see you in the next one. Bye!